At Global Travel Management, we receive feedback from business travellers all the time, and they're telling us two things consistently. The industry has to work harder to ensure business travellers have the confidence to travel in order to win business and create opportunities, and that 14 days of quarantine after a trip is too restricting. IATA has revealed that since the beginning of 2020, 1.2 billion passengers have travelled, while there have been just 44 cases of COVID-19 reported in which transmission is thought to have been associated with a flight journey, inclusive of confirmed, probable, and potential cases. That's one case for every 27 million travellers, or to put it another way, you have a 50% chance of catching COVID-19 on a flight if you were to fly every day for the next 36,985 years. But what can the travel industry do to make business travel even safer and to make business travellers even more confident about taking their next trips? Here at Global Travel Management, we support the call from British Airways for pre-flight COVID-19 testing. Affordable, quick and reliable testing is the best way to ensure that passengers have the confidence to fly. Sean Doyle, the new CEO of British Airways, has called for the introduction of pre-flight testing to dispose of the need for quarantine. And here's Sean explaining why we need pre-flight testing.
We need ministers to work with us to make the right decisions for citizens and our industry. Our position at British Airways is that we do not believe quarantine is the solution. We believe the best way to reassure people is to introduce a reliable and affordable test before flying. For the UK, this approach reduces the stress on the NHS testing systems within the UK and on policing the quarantine system. If we look abroad to our near neighbours, we see that business travel and indeed tourism is being prioritised by some countries. We need to get our economy moving again, and this just isn't possible when you're asking people to quarantine for 14 days. It's our view that even if that quarantine period is reduced to say 7 days, people won't travel here and the UK will get left behind. So what needs to happen? We say we need a fundamental rethink. Pre-flight testing lets our customers know the risk of travelling in close proximity to someone who is infected is low, and governments can be confident they are not importing the disease. The decision on which is the most appropriate test is for the authorities to decide, although the antigen test is developing quickly. It is fast, reliable and affordable, but whichever test a country requires, PCR tests included, we think pre-departure testing is the way forward. Introducing a rapid pre-departure testing regime could not be more important. I'm going to use the example of the US to help me explain this. The total loss in trade between the US and the UK is predicted to be £45.8 billion due to closed borders. I cannot stress more greatly that air connectivity between the UK and USA is fundamental for supporting economic growth and trade on both sides of the Atlantic. Pre-COVID, British Airways flew to almost 30 destinations in the US. Now it's less than half that. We normally fly to New York up to 12 times a day. It's now twice per day with fewer than 200 passengers most days. In the first instance, we need to work together on a testing pilot so flights can start between London and New York, traditionally one of the busiest airline routes in the world. To do this, first we need an agreement between the US and UK governments to reopen without blanket quarantine measures. At the moment, we are not getting any support or action, and we're not hearing from governments what they're thinking. Airlines and industry bodies like IATA are offering their expertise to develop health passports, but we do not see government doing any of this. Secondly, we need cost-effective testing before flying, with a quick, safe and accurate test for every passenger on affected routes.
Here at Global Travel Management, we are doing everything possible to make business travel fast, efficient and safe. Talk to us today.